I just got back from the cinema where I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and I think this is one of the best video game movies ever made. Here are all my thoughts.
Knuckles, do you mind?
Oh, excuse me.
Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super dangerous top secret mission.
What's up guys, Mike here, welcome back to my channel. Let's get into today's video. Okay, so like I said, I've just been to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I love these movies so much. I don't care how goofy they are just so charming, they're so fun, they're just, I love them. I actually remember seeing the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie back in 2020. That's 4-5 years ago now. Time moves really fast. And originally I had mixed feelings about it, but like in retrospect, I just started thinking of it as just a fun movie. And honestly, it just got better with the second one. I mean, as soon as they introduced Tails and Knuckles into the mix and really had that original Sonic trio in there, I just fell in love with this film franchise. Like, I get that these are just goofy kids movies, but like as someone who loves Sonic the Hedgehog, who grew up playing the games and who still loves the games, like I just bought Sonic and Shadow Generations and I've been loving that. I just absolutely loved the second movie, and the third one just gets even better. I love how all of the movies have a Marvel style post-credit scene. In the first one, Tails pops up. In the second one, we get a tease of Shadow, and there is one in the third one which I'll get to a bit later.
My God. Project Shadow.
By the way, this video will contain spoilers, just a heads up. So I should preface this by saying, like, one of the things I love most about like the Sonic game franchise and always have is just like the edginess and like the seriousness it takes itself. The character designs are amazing. Like, I love Sonic, I love Shadow, I love Silver, I love all of those characters. I just think they're so fantastically designed video game characters. I love the concept of speed. And to be honest, like, Shadow is one of my favorite characters in the franchise. I just think his backstory is so interesting, and just like being an edgelord character.
It's too late to take back what you've said.
I actually talked about it before the movie came out. There were rumors originally that Hayden Christensen was going to be playing Shadow the Hedgehog. I thought that was so great because of his incredible performance as Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise, the ultimate edgelord.
You underestimate my power!
But it did end up being Keanu Reeves, who actually did a really good job as Shadow as well.
You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking!
Of course, Jim Carrey returns here as Dr. Robotnik, but he is also playing Robotnik's grandfather, who is just another evil scientist. And Jim Carrey just nails it. Like, to be honest, I could do away with pretty much all of the other human characters, like James Marsden. He just doesn't really do anything for me in this movie or any of these movies, but I mean, Jim Carrey is just incredible in this role. And I feel like we should be grateful. Like, we got 3 movies with this guy. This is the guy who was in The Mask, Liar Liar, Bruce Almighty. Like, this guy is iconic, and here he is doing 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies. It's awesome. And the movie starts off with Shadow in this test tube. I always felt like Shadow had a really similar story to Mewtwo from Pokemon and the Pokemon the first movie.
Now I fully perceive my power. But what is my purpose?
Both are well-known edgelords in the movie and game community. The movie explores the backstory of Shadow and Maria, a human girl who basically became best friends with Shadow and gave him meaning in life, who eventually died, which pretty much broke Shadow. And this is such a fantastic story. Like, I just think it's such a tragedy, and it is such a amazing backstory for this character to have. Like, that's why he's an edgelord, you know? That's why Shadow is the ultimate edgelord. Because his best friend literally died, and it was all he ever knew. It was all the happiness in the world. Oh, it's such good writing. And even though the movie is relatively predictable, like, we all know what happens in this story if we've played the games. We know that Shadow is gonna have like a change of heart for the good. It's a tale as old as time, you know? We've seen this story play out many, many times, and Shadow ends up sacrificing himself to save the day. And I think this is drawing on, you know, other stories like this. You know, this is the Darth Vader story. This is like the Professor Snape, you know, those big pop culture icons. Like, Shadow the Hedgehog is in that kind of ilk. The same as Mewtwo from Pokemon. You know, he has the same realization at the end that fighting and war is wrong, and he stops it all.
I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
And while like the drama is great, the voice acting's great, like I love the comedic aspect. Like Ben Schwartz's Sonic has grown on me so much. I think Idris Elba does such a great job as Knuckles. I think Kalina Shaughnessy does such a great job with Tails. There are so many like comedic references to 90s and 2000s pop culture as well, which I think are all great Easter eggs to 90s culture and millennials like us. There is a reference to Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie, which is great. There's a reference to Hogwarts and Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Tails is compared to Detective Pikachu when the gang talks about Pokemon.
Pika Pika!
Now that also raises questions to me because obviously Pokemon exists in this world canonically, but sometimes Pokemon crosses over with Sonic the Hedgehog like in Super Smash Bros. So does that mean that Pokemon are real as well? Or is that, I'm thinking too much about let's just continue. There's also a shout out to the 90s being the best decade, which I totally agree with, by the way. The 90s were so good. I miss the 90s. Do you guys miss the 90s? Of course, we end up seeing Sonic become Super Sonic. We also see Shadow become Super Shadow. This is a Super Saiyan style fight of epic proportions that ends up making its way to the moon.
It's one small step for man.
And I always have said that like the Super Sonic Super Shadow thing definitely draws a lot from Dragon Ball Z, and even the fighting style in this scene is very Dragon Ball Z-ish. Kind of gets me wondering if I'd like to see another live action Dragon Ball Z, but I'm still on the fence about that. The other thing I was just so happy to hear was Live and Learn, the popular song from Sonic Adventure. Live and learn! Like when that song started in the movie, I was just like, yes, yes, bloody hell yes. And then it gets like this orchestral version as well. Oh, it was just so amazing. Like the fan service here is incredible. That was honestly a beautiful moment. I love that song so much. And of course, there is a mid and post-credit scene. The post-credit scene basically just reveals that Shadow is not really dead. That honestly wasn't much of a surprise, but there was a huge surprise in the mid-credit scene. I thankfully went into this like completely spoiler-free, so I did not know any of this, and I immediately saw Metal Sonic. I did really feel like Metal Sonic was the next logical character to introduce to these movies, so I was really happy to see him, them, he. It does end up being an army of Metal Sonics that are really closing in on our Sonic until a hooded hero comes to the rescue. But if you are a fan of the games, you immediately would have recognized exactly who it was, because the character is holding an iconic hammer, and when they reveal their face from under the hood, it is in fact Amy Rose. Oh man, like that just gets me so excited for Sonic 4. And it's already been confirmed that that movie is coming, but I just want them to introduce all the characters. Like I want every single character from the games to be here, and they are like, to their credit, one by one, they are introducing every kind of major character in the series. Like obviously Sonic 4 will focus on Amy and Metal Sonic, but I would really love to see Rouge the Bat. I would also like to see Vector, but probably most of all I would want to see Silver. Like Silver probably does feel like the logical next one after Amy and Metal Sonic. Seriously, I had so much fun with this movie, so if you're on the fence about seeing it, I highly recommend going to check it out today. Whew, thank you so much for watching, guys. Hey, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more pop culture content. I do content like this all the time, a few times a week on my channel at the moment. I'm trying to grow to 10K, so if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. Hey, I would also love for you to comment below, what did you think of Sonic 3? What is the next character that you would like to see in this series? I'd really love to know that as well. But if you don't know what to say but still want to comment to help me out in the algorithm, just comment "gotta go fast." You can also follow me on Instagram for more content, and I do a blog over on Substack where I talk all about pop culture, mental health, being a millennial, and how those three things intertwine in our day-to-day lives. So make sure you go and follow/subscribe to me there. That's pretty much it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind, and I'll catch you later.